Agamemnon, a plot summary of Aeschylus' play. It begins in Argos in the 10th year of the Trojan War. There is a watchman on the roof of the palace. He is waiting for a signal from the beacon system that the war is over. He says, "That woman, she manoeuvres like a man," when talking about Clytemnestra. This is a reference to her masculinity, which is an ongoing trope throughout the tragedy. He sees the light in the east. Troy has fallen. He hints that there is a problem within Argos. Then a chorus of old men, those who couldn't fight and who haven't learnt the news of the victory, enter. They talk about the Trojan War. Clytemnestra enters the stage but says nothing. Then the chorus talk about the omen which occurred before the Trojan War began. There were two birds representing Menelaus and Agamemnon, killing a hare, which represented Troy, and it was pregnant, and the unborn young represented the Trojans. When this happened, Calchas the seer read the omen, saw that Artemis wasn't happy, and that she demanded a young woman as a sacrifice, in order to stop the storm that kept the Achaean forces in Chalcis, and that would allow them to go to Troy. In response to this, Agamemnon kills Iphigenia. Clytemnestra tells the chorus that Troy has fallen, but they don't believe her. She explains the beacon system, but they still don't believe her. She warns of the men in Troy getting carried away and disrespecting the gods by burning down temples, etc. Clytemnestra goes back into the palace. Then the chorus talk about Paris taking Helen. They say they would rather be average than successful, because that risks resentment from the gods. A herald arrives and tells of the fall of Troy and the return of Agamemnon. He says that the men destroyed Troy's altars and shrines. He refers to the situation in Argos. Clytemnestra re-enters and talks about her happiness. She gloats about the chorus not believing her, and then lies about her fidelity. The herald says that Menelaus is lost. The chorus talk more about Helen of Troy and the context of the war. Then Agamemnon returns in his chariot with Cassandra, who doesn't speak for 300 lines. The chorus praise him and glorify his heroism. Agamemnon talks about the war and his victory, and refers to Odysseus, who is lost at sea. He begins to get off the chariot, praying thanks. And then Clytemnestra talks about her sadness at being away and that she was suicidal, which steals his thunder as she effectively talks over him. She says that Orestes has been sent away for his own safety. She orders her women to put crimson tapestries on the floor so that he never sets the foot that stamped out Troy on earth again. Agamemnon says that she treats him like a woman. He is a man, not a god, and so can walk on earth. They argue. She says that Priam would have walked on them if he had won the Trojan War. She asks him where his glory is, and he says, where is her womanliness in glory? Finally, he capitulates and steps down onto the tapestries, revealing Cassandra in her priestess dress. He tells Clytemnestra to escort Cassandra into the house as she is his war prize. Then he enters the palace. The chorus sing about mortality and fate. Clytemnestra comes back out of the palace and asks Cassandra to come in and join in the sacrifice. She calls Cassandra a slave. Cassandra ignores her. The Clytemnestra and the chorus encourage her to obey, but she just gets angry and re-enters the palace on her own. Cassandra begins having a vision, calling out to Apollo. The chorus don't understand what she is doing, and they think it's a bad omen. She steps down from the chariot in complete control, and then learns about the house of Atreus in her vision. This is the history of Thyses and his children, etc. Cassandra then has a vision of Clytemnestra's plan to murder Agamemnon. She describes it in vivid detail. She will stab him in the bath. The chorus don't believe Cassandra on this vision of the future, which is part of her curse. Cassandra then realises that she is to die with Agamemnon. She tells them of her history with Apollo. Apollo loved her, he gave her the gift of prophecy, and then during sex she rejected him, and so he cursed her so that nobody believed her prophecies. Cassandra then criticises Aeschylus and Clytemnestra in a very cryptic way. She continues to try and convince the chorus that Agamemnon will die, and then, talking about her death, she rips off her regalia and foreshadows Orestes' revenge. She decides not to run away, and then, on approach to the palace, she asks the chorus to remember how she died and spread the word. She enters the palace, singing her own funeral dirge. The chorus then hear the sounds of Agamemnon dying from the palace. They realise what's happening and talk singly to represent their shock and panic. Agamemnon's and Cassandra's bodies are rolled out on the Ecoclema, with Clytemnestra standing over them. Clytemnestra announces that she has been lying this whole time. She proclaims herself as the murderer. The chorus then reunites. She describes the murder and blames Agamemnon for the curse. The chorus say that the people want her exiled, but she is shocked at the double standards, that her crimes demand exile, while his, breaking divine law, did not. The chorus warn her that the curse on the house of Aeschylus is a cycle, and so there will be another murder. Clytemnestra tells of her affair with Aeschylus, and the chorus still glorify their king. She brings up Cassandra and Iphigenia as her reasons for the murder, but particularly the maternal reason of avenging the death of her daughter. Aeschylus emerges from the palace with a bodyguard. He stands over Agamemnon and talks about Thyestes, his father. He says he plotted the murder. The chorus criticise him and characterise him as weak because he got a woman to do his dirty work. Again, this is another reference to the masculinity of Clytemnestra. The chorus calls for the Fates to bring Orestes home. Aegisthus' men and the chorus draw their weapons and prepare to fight. She steps between them and stops them fighting. Once more, this is a physical representation of her masculinity. They continue to argue. She then ends the play by saying that she and Aegisthus have the power and will set the house in order. The chorus leave in silence, which is very unusual.